Well, it's been a very impressive season for the 450 rookie Dylan Ferrandis, catching the eye of his fellow Frenchman, MotoGP's Quartararo. They've congratulated each other over social media on the successes of the season. Dylan said on his free time he loves to watch racing. That's how he kind of takes a break from all the training that he does, and we all know how focused Dylan Ferrandis is. So he's excited to see his fellow Frenchman have as much success as he has so far this season.
Yeah, and both the Yamaha riders as well. So all in the family all around, Fabio Quartararo and Dylan Ferrandis leading in two of the premier motorcycle championships in the world. KTM keys to the Moto here, Grant, for our final race of the day.
Yeah, with the start, you want to keep it clean. You know, the first couple turns, easy to go down, very tight, and then find good lines. We saw how that helped riders in the first Moto, and then don't override the track. It's very easy to do around this beautiful RedBud circuit.
Ferrandis did not get a good start in Moto 1. He was able to overcome it. That took a whole lot of effort. Does he have the strength to come back and do it in Moto 2? We heard Ryan Dungey talk about how short the turnaround time is. So short the riders usually can't even eat. I'm assuming the stomach is so upset you sometimes can't hold it down.
It's really hard. You're just thirsty. You're not hungry.
Okay. Well, they're hungry for racing, and so are we. Let's do it. Hear from RedBud. Eli Tomac around the outside, got on the brakes a little early, and that's going to allow Aaron Plessinger to nail his second Motorsport.com whole shot of the day. Cian Cirulo on the number 9, edging ahead of Tomac for second.
Yeah, Plessinger did just that. He kept it tight, kept it clean. Didn't get to the first turn first, but certainly came out in the lead.
Bad news for everyone else. Ferrandis, oh, Cian Cirulo down and down hard, lost the front. Meanwhile, I was going to say Ferrandis had a good start, so this has turned into a bad day for Cian Cirulo.
Look at that mud guard. You don't often see that.
And his front fender is turned backwards. I guess he's just going to try to move forward and see if it pulls itself out. That bike is mangled, maybe only from a cosmetic standpoint. We'll see if it's hard to ride. Well, that hurts Adam. Maybe not physically, but definitely in the results and points chart. Let's see it again.
Yeah, comes from the turn. The front wheel just never settles into that rut. Goes down. You know what he's thinking right there. Not again.
Yeah, we've seen a lot losing the front end for Cian Cirulo, and you do it early in the race, you're going to go to last. So he's going to have to come from 40th now. Meanwhile, Tomac inherits second, but as I was mentioning, a much better start than usual for Ferrandis, but Roczen is right there with him.
This is going to be good, and then just behind them it was Christian Craig, and a much better start, obviously, for Chase Sexton, who was down in turn 1 of Moto 1. So it will be good to see his actual speed. Look at Roczen.
Oh, Roczen always so good early in the race. He gets to the inside, makes the move on Ferrandis. Ferrandis, such a fighter, comes right back on him. Side by side with their two title combatants.
Yeah, he tried to scrub that jump, stay low, but actually clipped it, which cost him a little bit. Can he do LaRocco's leap? Oh, he gets a big bounce there. They've groomed the face of it, and they do, all of them, go for it. Nice.
Yeah, Kenny was able to do it from a little bit further to the inside, and by that he has moved all the way up. Oh, Roczen almost threw it away.
Man, how many times have we seen guys get super loose coming out of that last turn? It's dry, it's slick.
Oh, Roczen a mistake. Ferrandis almost went down, bumping into him. And Tomac has taken the lead from Plessinger. Plessinger coming back. Great racing as usual in this 450 division. Eli Tomac to the lead.
Yeah, great battle. It just looked like, whoa, look, AP around the outside.
Oh, he almost had it. He is aggressive trying to get back around Tomac.
Yeah, Tomac just slammed the door at the exit there, using all the track. Roczen, like you said, made that little mistake. Ferrandis, that's one of those times he probably wished he wasn't quite following, because he could have pulled the trigger, but instead has to abort, almost runs into the back of him.
Well, the way I see it, Ferrandis usually really strong late in the race. Roczen so quick early. Let's see if Roczen can get away from his rival right now. No, Ferrandis making it tough on him. Plessinger has been in the mix all day long, third in Moto 1. This battle continues. Roczen and Ferrandis side by side again.
Good, clean racing from these two title contenders. And then behind, yes, Sexton. He's going to want to get past Craig and join that battle up front. I think Sexton is one of those riders, if he can get around Craig, he'll be able to run with this lead group.
Yeah, he has had speed all year, but he has not been there at the start. He does make the quick move on Craig this time.
He just launched through that turn. He jumped almost to the exit. That was beautifully done right there.
In a while since we've seen Sexton up front in one of these motos. He nearly won the first moto of the season in California about a month ago. Almost picked off Ferrandis, actually, for that. And then since then, it's been bad starts and a lot of early race crashes. Look at this pack up front. Tomac, Plessinger, and Roczen now. He's looking for running room on the number 7. Like to get around him and take over second.
What I really like is when AP got past first moto, he didn't just back off and lose a bunch of ground. He fought and hung in there, but he's got to be careful now. Oh, Tomac
Oh, Roczen's not going to make it. Roczen's not going to make Larocco's leap. He comes up way short. That had to hurt.
You know, and that could also hurt the bike. You could break some spokes, blow a wheel out. That would be detrimental to his championship title. You see him trying to shake it out. He wears a wrist brace, and I know that wrist isn't the greatest.
No, he has had some injuries to both of those arms. That's well documented. You hate to see him take a hit like that. Can he hang on? He was right behind Plessinger in the takeoff. He decided to go for it anyway. Let's see the hit.
Oh, he knew it from early on, and that, oh, that hurts. Oh, my gosh. See, he has to dab the brakes when he goes to the bottom. Is that all saying in motocross? He might have to get a lawyer for that case.
Yeah, the engine case is absolutely bottomed on that jump. Roczen showing some toughness here, shaking it off and holding Ferrandis back.
I know this may sound weird, but sometimes things like that make you angry. And
Oh,
when you're
okay.
angry, you ride in that feisty mode, and you actually go pretty quick.
I think it's worked right now because he's drawing back up on Plessinger, and look at that. Beautiful laying it over in that corner.
Yeah, these guys are pushing hard. That's why you're seeing just little mistakes happening. The track is rough. I mean, they did a great job prepping it. The riders love it. They're able to use multiple lines. So we have seen good racing and a lot of passing as well. See Roczen jumping over the braking bumps down that hill. And Tomac just on the edge away a little bit from this pack.
And I think Sexton might be the fastest rider in this group. He's got to be motivated. He has not seen the leaders in a while. He is starting to actually close a bit on Ferrandis.
Well, the last lap around, him and Tomac were almost identical, but quicker than the 3 riders in between. So you're right, Sexton has good pace, but just like that, Tomac must have made a mistake.
Yeah, Plessinger is right there again, and Plessinger, bike got sideways, used the long legs to get it back under control. Eli Tomac has been a bit of a mystery this year, the 3-time series champ in this 450 division, struggling mightily outside the top 5 in the first 5 motos of the season, and then suddenly caught fire. Whoa! Roczen going after Plessinger. And this time Roczen does not jump Larocco's lead.
He knew better, because it was almost a carbon copy of the previous lap,
Yeah.
and I think he thought he could still make it work. And obviously we saw he learned the hard way. Couldn't quite get it done.
Ferrandis lurking, and same for Sexton right behind him. This is what we have seen all year long. The opening half of these motos in the 450 class have been furious, but Eli Tomac is trying to put an end to that. He wants to get away. As I was saying, a sudden rebound at our last race at High Point. After not finishing in the top 5 in the first 5 motos of the year, he dominated the 6th moto of the season to win it. And he's looking for another moto win today. And it is really hard to figure out how the overall would turn out for the weekend because of the points penalty that both Roczen and Ferrandis incurred in moto number 1. With 2 points being taken away from Roczen and a point being taken from Ferrandis.
Well, they can also make the math easy for all of us if we just go out and win it. But at the moment, Ferrandis, first moto, he made it seem like it wasn't that difficult to reel in that front pack. But instead, this time around, it's Sexton that's been the one that's been putting down the great lap times.
Yeah, and if you're Roczen, you would love your teammate to get up in there and help. Because when you have the Frenchman all over you, it's not easy to hold back.
Tomac gains on the other half of the track, and then he seems to lose it on this section.
Yeah, Plessinger's not out of it from the number 2 spot. Top 5 is close early here at RedBud. So Tomac, just like you said, looks like he's edging away, and then you get to this side of the track. Plessinger a little bit closer.
Yeah, I don't know if it's maybe just also trading mistakes potentially, but it definitely in one lap even has yo-yoed a fair bit.
Go back to this. Roczen and Plessinger. This part of the track is tricky. Roczen's got a new line here on the inside, or maybe Plessinger. Oh, Plessinger just, oh, Rocco, I cannot believe Roczen went for it again. And this time he made it better, but it still wasn't clean. The risk that he is taking.
Yeah. You're almost, it's one of those where you almost feel like, is it really worth it? You know, when you look at the big picture, he's not 100% physically. meaning, with his wrists and all his joints. I mean, any hard impact like that just hurts. It'll remind you of every surgery you've ever had. Is the easiest way to put it.
Well, I think you're starting to see the championship thing boil down. Roczen knows Ferrandis is behind him. He does not want Ferrandis to get by. And in that case, if you don't jump the leap and Ferrandis does, it might happen. A lot of grit and determination being shown by Ken Roczen here outdoors this summer. Great battle here, Lucas Oil Pro Motocross in green on the number 3. Eli Tomac trying to get away with the lead. Aaron Plessinger is second. Ken Roczen on the red 94 is third. Roczen gets close to Plessinger, but his real goal, keep the number 14 behind him. Roczen is second in the series standings. 14 of Ferrandis is your series leader. They've been at each other's throats. They've passed the points lead back with each race this year. And they've been close on track a lot as well. Eli Tomac, meanwhile, trying to get away up front. Let's send it back to Ryan Dungey with some analysis of the number 3. Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. I was watching Tomac all day today, and it really looked like he found his groove in Moto 1 towards the end there, and now getting a good start, just being able to be out front and something to capitalize on, and just try to come in with these wins and start putting them up there on the podium.
Yeah, momentum definitely building for Tomac. So many questions of what the issue was at the first 3 rounds, 2.5 rounds of the series. And then all of a sudden getting that Moto win, and he said, by the way, same bike that he had in Colorado round 2, ran the same stuff at round 3 when all of a sudden he was winning again. So he just called it a slump. He said he thinks it's repeatable, and it is right now. Roczen choosing not to do the big Larocco's leap. That named after Mike Larocco, one of the favorite sons, one of the best riders that this area of the country has ever produced, and as a legend says, the first one to ever jump that. But back then he had to go off the racetrack to the fence line. Or I think they actually pulled the fence down so we could get enough run at it. Bikes weren't quite as fast back then. Now they're doing it in race conditions, but barely in Roczen's case. And I'll tell you what, he didn't jump the leap once this one time, and here is Ferrandis all over him. And then Sexton lurking.
Yeah, the pace is definitely pretty hot at the front. I mean, last lap round, you could almost throw a blanket over their lap times. Roczen was the slowest one, only a half second off. Look at the other guys. Tomac, 209.5. Plessinger, 209.5. Ferrandis, 209.5. Sexton, 209.4.
You've got to be
incredible.
Yeah, we're just not used to seeing quite this close of competition in the 450 class. And you're kind of waiting. Is it going to level off? Is it going to die down? If anything, these last 2 races have been our best 2 of the year.
It's certainly not dying down.
No.
And like you said, a lot of times that happens. You kind of figure out who the contenders, who the pretenders. You lose a few to injuries. But that bank, you got to have that bike cranked over. Otherwise, when you hit it, they'll stand you up. And that's what happened to Ferrandis. Didn't get the bike settled and leant over enough. Ends up kind of hitting into it rather than banking off of it.
All right, we're still in the first half of this race, though, so plenty of time for Ferrandis to try to pull it back in. Is this Plessinger going back after Tomac? Plessinger has something dialed in that very small sector of the course where he gets right back to Tomac each time.
Yeah, he does. And he did the same thing in the first Moto. Kenny got around, and then he just hovered for quite a while, and a couple of times looked like he might even think about having a lunge.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you look at the overall points for the day, it's all on the line. If Plessinger passes Tomac, he wins the overall. If Tomac holds on, he wins the overall. And then Roczen and Ferrandis, they have room to grow as well. If they make passes, either one of these 2 could win it. This has been so fun to watch Roczen and Ferrandis. They're about the same age, but they never really raced each other. Roczen moved to the United States at a very young age. Ferrandis said his very first Grand Prix race in MX2 was Roczen's last. So they only really raced each other one time, except a few races when they were kids here and there, until this series right now, and also Supercross earlier this year. So not a lot of data between the 2 of them. And kind of different styles. Roczen, really a technician, so smooth, good with the line choices. Ferrandis will just hammer, and he will just make it happen any way he needs to. And it's been fun to watch the contrasting styles work out about the same on the racetrack.
You could take the top 5 riders. They all have their very unique individual. Tomac's got that big, rounded shoulders, upper body. AP just tall and lanky, moves around the bike, little bit like Wyndham-esque.
And it's all worked out about the same. Top 5 within about 5 seconds here at RedBud. Plessinger not letting Tomac get away. Eli Tomac hard on the brakes as he enters that big Monza turn. This is the section where Plessinger has been strong. Let's see if Eli can maintain the gap over him this time. That was classic style there from Tomac.
Well, if Plessinger was to get around Tomac and the penalties for the other guys, he would be the overall winner.
Oh, yeah.
So a lot on the line for theoretically just one overtake.
Yeah. Yeah, this Moto win will also end up determining the overall, at least between Tomac and Plessinger. It could flip in the other direction if Roczen can make a move, if Ferrandis can make a move.
Oh, we hear some cheering from the crowd. And time starting to tick down.
Oh, no!
That's
Roczen has crashed. Yep, you heard some commotion. Roczen has gone down, and it is certainly a long time to get up. And we'll see how much damage is done. Remember, we've been talking about how close the field has been on lap times. He's got Marvin Musquin behind him. That is 7th place.
I think his front end's twisted up.
Yeah, that does not look right.
Doesn't look straight, does it? But
nope.
Yeah, you heard the crowd erupt. I knew something had to have happened. There's Marvin, so Kenny's still in 6th place. But that was after the triple step up, the Larocco's leap. It was obviously coming into that corner. The way these bikes have been moving around, probably just the front was skipping and then he lost it.
These guys are on the edge, no doubt, the way they've been fighting. So that's going to be a big blow for Roczen. Going to take him off the podium for the day for sure, and also hurt him in the series standings. Let's see if he can recover and hold Musquin off if the bike is twisted. It's Webb, Barcia, and Max Anstey rounding out your top 10 right now. Now I'm trying to figure out, I think the advantage there would be Ferrandis, because those positions might give him the overall for the day, even with that 1-point penalty from Moto 1. Well, Ken Roczen giving it his all today, but maybe a little bit too much at times. He goes down and loses a couple positions here while we're way at break. Let's show it to you.
Yeah, this was after the triple step up. Look at the right-hand side of the shot. You'll just see him coming flying in there.
Woo!
And I don't know if he was indecisive because of the lapped rider or if he was just going to go to the outside. But yeah, he lost that at a high rate of speed.
That section has been tough on him. We're halfway through this moto. 15 minutes to go. You could save 15 minutes or more on your motorcycle insurance by calling Geico. Roczen got up and has found his groove again. Marvin Musquin in 7th was right behind him, but he has not been able to get Roczen. This is the section where he crashed. This left-hander coming up.
Yeah, let's see where Kenny's going. He's going to that inside, so I don't know if he was just a little outside of that main line or if he just had the front end bouncing around. But a little uncharacteristic for Ken. But you can see this moto. He was jumping the triple, step up, which maybe wasn't what he would ideally want to do. But with this battle and the intensity and the pace, and who was right behind him, kind of had to. And I don't know if that maybe pushed him into a bit of a mistake.
So Eli Tomac leads here. You don't normally see this situation. The problem for Tomac is usually maybe not the best starter, and it's him making the moves late. He got the lead early in this one, and Aaron Plessinger here, the number 7, Monster Energy Star Yamaha, has not let him go. It's been a couple of bike lengths between them the entire way. You don't often see someone take a lead away from Tomac late, but that's what Plessinger's trying to do.
Yeah, this is going to be fun to see. I mean, I really think that AP is giving it everything he's got to kind of hang at that pace, and I believe that if Tomac had a little more speed, he would have tried to sort of break this toe, kind of break Plessinger's spirits as well. But every time you think, okay, he's starting to get away, Tomac, you just see AP is able to reel it back in.
What they have done has pulled away quite a bit from Ferrandis, who is third, but 5 seconds back. And then Sexton, who was putting in a nice charge on Ferrandis earlier, he's dropped off a bit. See, the last time around, he's about 2 seconds slower than Ferrandis, so he is fourth, but a distant fourth. Christian Craig, another great run. He is in fifth. Roxon pushed back to sixth after the crash. Then it's Muscan, Webb, Barsha, Max Anstey, top 10. Sean Cerullo, who was second early and crashed on lap 1, has not made up much ground. He is not into the top 20. He's 26th. So that is going to be a disaster as far as points for Sean Cerullo right now. Plessinger still pushing, and this guy has got the crowd on his side as well. Joking with him yesterday, he's become almost the unofficial mascot of RedBud. Was walking around with the red, white, and blue clothes on, the cut-off sleeves, some cowboy boots. He's got the mullet you see hanging out of the back of the helmet. And they would love to see this guy win it.
Ooh, little mistake there.
Yep.
But I think on the flip side, I'm sure there's also going to be a lot of people that would be happy to see, you know, the Eli returning as well.
Yeah. Good battle here between Cooper Webb, number 2 in the Red Bull KTM, and the Troy Lee Designs Red Bull Gas of Justin Barsha, who's just trying to get a tear off, ripped off the goggles there, and clear vision. And now the battle can resume. This is for 8th and 9th.
So Marvin just ahead of them up the road a little bit. Hasn't been a good outdoor season for the KTM team.
No.
Bosch has had speed at times, but once again, just not getting the starts.
Yeah, he was great at the first 2 rounds of the season. Barsha just off the podium both times. Was not quite as good at High Point, just inside the top 10 there. A little bit better from Barsha today, but has not had the starts. Has had to really work it through traffic. Some lap riders between he and Webb. And Webb, of course, you're a Supercross champion for the 2nd time this year. And I figured the performance would be better than this. He has just not had the pace of the lead group. He's been in this 5 to 10 range in most of the motos this year. And I know they're doing bike changes. They're trying. They're working. But hasn't quite had the pace of the leaders. He's even had some good starts, like he did in Moto 1. Was up front early, but they got him.
Whoa.
Is Plessinger back?
Yeah, he jumped the Larocco's leap, and Tomac didn't. I think lap traffic had something to do with that.
Man, cannot question the desire of the heart of Plessinger today. In Moto 1, Roxon got by him. He stuck with Roxon all the way to the end. Moto 2, Tomac got by him. He hung with Tomac at the end. There is a damaged Kawasaki of Sean Cerullo waving these guys by as he goes a lap down. He's just trying to get into the top 20s, 24th. His teammate leads. Back to this. Tomac versus Plessinger. About a 1.5 seconds in it. Surprised to see Ferrandis not making a run at them, but if it ended like this, even with the 1-point penalty that he took for jumping when the red cross flag was out in Moto 1, Ferrandis going to take a 1-point penalty for that. He would still be the overall winner if he finishes in 3rd. So maybe he's aware of that. I feel like Ferrandis is the type of guy that's going to try to win every moto he's in. But he lost. At the same time we had that Roxon crash, Ferrandis wasn't as close to these two anymore, and he hasn't been able to really lock it down and make a charge. But Plessinger has.
Oh, Eli even had a look over that time going, he's probably a little frustrated going, man, no matter how hard I push, this guy just will not leave me alone.
Absolutely. And this section of the track has been the specialty of Plessinger. And it might come down to the big triple step-up Larocco's leap a few corners from here. It has been tough for everyone to jump it each time. I'd say Plessinger's probably jumped it the most.
Well, the other thing is if these two start getting into a bit of a battle, that could just bring Ferrandis right back in, because I feel like Ferrandis is finding his groove again. The gap is coming down.
It's true. Yeah, it was 5 seconds at one point. Now it's 3.4. Here's Larocco's leap. Tomac not doing it. Plessinger goes for it again. It was really close.
Yeah, I mean, you could say he just tagged that, but that for Larocco's leap today, he cleared that nicely.
jump's got to be tough for these factory 450s to not be able to get it clean each time. As we head back in view of the fans, listen to the crowd.
Oh, they're sensing the battle. Last lap around, Ferrandis 2:08.6. Plessinger 2:09.8. Tomac 2:09.6. So once again, Ferrandis taking almost a second, basically a second out of this lead group.
Well, I've been talking about it all year. I'm calling it the Dillon danger zone. When you start to see him lurking at the back of the shot, not quite there yet, not quite in range. But once he gets there, it has been very hard for them to stop him. He came through this pack to win the first moto a little over an hour ago. Can he do it again?
There he is.
Yeah, he's got them in the zone. Oh, Plessinger, a hard landing. That'll help Tomac a little bit. The crowd here at RedBud coming to life, sensing a great battle down the stretch. Eli Tomac leads the way. It's the Twisted Tea RedBud National. And it has been, as they call it, a yo-yo battle. Plessinger closes. Tomac stretches it. Plessinger closes. Tomac stretches it. Really hard to figure who's going to be the better man in the final laps.
And look who's there. Ferrandis now. He can see them. He's close.
Here it is. He's got them in the zone. And when he can see them, he's usually able to go after them. And now suddenly, Ferrandis is closer to Plessinger than Plessinger is to Tomac.
Yeah, the yo-yo battle you're talking about, it's so crazy just how much it stretches on one side of the track to the other. Once again, having to change up their lines due to lap traffic.
So now we watch Ferrandis. Can he get to them? That might be a foregone conclusion. Can he pass them when he gets there? Here's the big Larocco's leap. He doesn't do it.
Now he's taking that inside, keeping it tight, getting through that turn real quick, and then just trying to stay low, get the wheels back on the ground, drive forward. Oh, little mistake there, landing just on the edge of that inside berm.
Oh, Ferrandis throwing everything he has at it, trying to get his teammate Plessinger. So forget the idea that Ferrandis knows that he has the weekend's overall and will just settle for third. You don't see much settling from this guy. And remember, championship points are paid by individual moto, not overall. So he wants the maximum haul. So he wants to get Plessinger and Tomac before it's over.
And it's going to be over pretty quick for these guys. They're going to have to start making some moves because with the time, nice there from the inside. But they basically have less than 4 laps to go because when they come around, they'll get one more lap before time will expire. So the mechanics would have figured that out, putting on the board.
Well, it's just dig deep time, hard grit, whatever you want to call it, down the stretch in the second moto of the day of Lucas Oil Pro Motocross. We talked about the very short recovery time between races.
Whoa, that was really good there. That was, didn't get into a rut or anything, just carved between the lines there. Good corner speed. Ferrandis finding a couple little sneaky lines out there, and I think that's going to really help him in these last few laps.
He's so rough down that hill where he ended up on the outside, and he just fought those bumps off and still came down the hill with speed to keep his teammate in sight. And this has been advantage Tomac. Finally, he's managed to put a little distance between himself and Plessinger, and now Plessinger's going to have a fight on his hands to hold on to second.
Ferrandis good through the rollers, even when he mixes up the lines. But as you said, Tomac just got a little bit of breathing room right now where he doesn't have to defend.
Ferrandis on the outside. And I mean way outside. Looks like he wants to lead. Puts the power to the ground. Both Yamaha riders get it this time. Looks a lot safer to jump it from that outside, but he loses a lot of ground entering, going that wide. Battle of the Yamahas for second as Eli Tomac tries to hang on to the win. So now you see Tomac's gap.
What he doesn't want to see is all this lap traffic coming up, because that's the real question mark when you're the leader. When you've got clear track, you feel a lot more confident, comfortable in your own ability. But when you're relying on other people, it's always a wild card.
He got around a few of them. More to come. And the lap traffic, it does seem like it's made a little bit bigger impact on the pace today than some other tracks. So Tomac's got to weave his way through. Got a good break there. That rider looked over, saw him coming.
Yeah, well, they're getting blue flags as well. It's just, you'll notice there's not blue flags everywhere around the track, only at certain locations. And the blue flags also don't tell you how many guys potentially are coming by.
Or how close they are. They often don't know if they're right behind you or, yeah, you got a pack coming. Plessinger and Ferrandis, their teammates. I would say they get along well off the track, but that's no surprise. Plessinger gets along with everybody. One of the most happy-go-lucky guys you'll see in racing, but he is serious right now because he's dealing with Ferrandis, who's got a line on the inside. Not quite able to get inside. He's going to try it again. Ferrandis, a deep send into this corner. Ooh, lines almost came together. It's going to be wheel-to-wheel to the sand rollers.
Look at Ferrandis, how good he is getting the power to the ground. I mean, AP's been so strong through there, but Ferrandis, you see how the rear wheel's just driving along the ground, barely coming off the ground. Oh, a little mistake there from Plessinger.
Eli Tomac leads to the waning moments here at RedBud, but he has a different competitor to deal with now. Dylan Ferrandis, as he often does late in the race, doing his best work. He's gotten around his teammate, Aaron Plessinger, moments ago. We'll show it to you.
Yeah, watch this. Ferrandis, watch that rear wheel. It barely comes off the ground ever. It's just driving, get the power to the ground. And Plessinger's been strong through there all day, but Ferrandis just sensational, able to make that work. Beautiful move.
Would Ferrandis dare to make a late lunge at Eli Tomac? It's going to be tough. It's 3 seconds that he'd have to make up on a man who's won this title 2 times. And Eli Tomac, one of the fittest riders to ever compete in this championship. But Ferrandis has put some miraculous comebacks in the book already here in 2021.
Well, the good news for him, he's got the overall.
Yep.
But he wants to get Tomac for sure.
Ryan Dungey's been patrolling the racetrack for us. We're going to revisit the same story we talked about earlier, Ryan. A rookie, Ferrandis, leading this series, looking more and more solid every week. How hard is that to be this consistent in your first year in the big bike?
Well, it's definitely tough. I mean, this is his rookie season, and so, I mean, not a lot of guys really come in and do this, and the fact that he's doing it, it's, you know, exceeding the expectation, and by far, and I'm sure the team and himself are really happy, but you know, it is a long season. You want to keep the focus, but it is a huge confidence booster and just the momentum, and you know, he's riding tremendously well, and if he can get this overall win today, it's just going to add to the momentum of what he already has going, and that's huge, as you know, GL, once you get that rolling.
Well, Ryan, I was going to say, you did it. You won it in your rookie year on a 450, but then you've told me it wasn't as easy as it looked from the outside to pull that off.
It's really not, you know, because at the end of the day, regardless of how we feel about it, as the rider, you still want to get the job done. You don't care what your season it is. You don't care it's your first year, second year. You want to win the championship, and so you're so focused, and that's just the priority. And you know, you don't give yourself that you know, that pass on. Oh well, we can afford a few mistakes. It's our rookie season. So
he is coming after Eli Tomac with a lap to go. He's cut it from 3.3 to 1.5.
He just ran at 2:09, which is, you know, seconds quicker than everyone else around. Only Tomac was even closer to 2:10. Is it too little too late, or is there an opportunity? He's so good through those rollers. If he can get anywhere near Tomac.
This guy is an animal late. I don't know if I ever remember seeing someone rip the lead away from Eli Tomac on the last lap of a Moto. Like I said, he's one of the fittest riders we've ever seen in this series. But Ferrandis is just an animal down the stretch. Ferrandis does not need this position for the overall, but he wants every championship point he can get, and it pays in individual Moto scores.
He's digging deep, and so is Tomac. You can just see he is really responding to this pressure. Oh, Ferrandis charging that turn and slammed into the berm. Oh, Eli, you saw the back just bounce around a little bit, got a little sideways, but he brought it back real quick.
Yeah, he is hustling for sure. He knows that Ferrandis is there. They've pulled well clear of Plessinger now. Sexton fourth, Craig, Roxon, he's held off Muscan, salvaged sixth after a big crash. Barsha ahead of Webb, and then Savachi has moved into 10th around Max Anstey. Slavacci on the Rocky Mountain ATV MC KTM. All right, about a quarter of a lap to go. Both leaders in the same shot. This is, as I call it, the Dylan danger zone, but he might be out of time. He's got Tomac in sight, but not a lot of racetrack left.
Yeah, he needed about 5 to 10 bike lengths to have a shot into this section. Unless Tomac makes a mistake, I think he's going to hold off on this one. But a great effort. Once again, just Ferrandis, a ton of heart.
Absolutely. Going to leave these guys scratching their heads. What do they got to do to hold him off late in these races?
He's going to go for this Larocco's leap on the last lap. He's throwing everything.
Yeah, Tomac does not jump it. Ferrandis does. He's going to get even closer. There's 2 turns to go. Not enough. Eli Tomac is going to win the second moto for the second week in a row in Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, but Dylan Ferrandis takes another overall win for the weekend.
Yeah, making a habit out of this.
That's 3 of them on the year, and we are only in round 4.
Look how they pulled on Plessinger at the end of that.
Check back in with Roxon. Musquin never let him go. There's Musquin on the 25 in orange. He is keeping Roxon honest all the way down the stretch for 6th. That's how deep the field is this year. You got to hold off Musquin, a rider who's won a lot of races and contended for championships in this division many, many times. They were about this far apart when Roxon picked the bike up about 15 minutes ago. And Roxon is going to salvage 6th in this moto to fight another day with Ferrandis for the points lead in this series. Good recovery from Roxon. He showed some heart, man, casing Larocco's leap hard, jumping in again. You could tell he wants it as well, but no one's digging deeper than this man at the number 14, the Frenchman, trying to get this 450 title in his first crack at it.